What's going on, everyone? This is AshleyShuler, your business system strategist, and most importantly, your host for Conversations with Ask Ash, episode 6. We're talking about team communication, y'all. I know what you're thinking, y'all. You're probably thinking, okay, Ash, what does this have to do with systems, processes, all this other stuff that you were talking about in the previous podcast? Well, let me tell you something. In this unusual 2020 environment, communication, especially on a team level, is paramount. It's paramount. So this podcast is especially for those leaders, those folks that are on teams that were really looking to hone their team communication. And really, the sky's the limit with team communication. There's always something to be improved. So whether you work in your career job, whether you work remotely, you're an online entrepreneur, virtual assistant, graphic designer, team communication applies to everyone. And so I hear a lot of different stories about the need to hire, about how do I improve my communication, because it seems as if tasks within the projects aren't getting done. And I'll tell you, some of this is hard stuff, but it's necessary stuff. If it's bumpy, that's okay, because we're going to walk through some things about how you can GSD, aka get stuff done. So, let's talk about the art and science of communication apps. So one of the first principles that we'll dig into is setting the tone and setting expectations. Let me tell you a little story. I was having a dialogue with a client, and he was telling me, Ashley, I'm having a tough time with my team and how we communicate. So I said, all right, well, what's the what? Tell me what's going on. He said, well, on Mondays, I ask for updates on Slack. I say, okay, interesting. So what do you say? Well, I just say, hey guys, what updates do you have on the projects? And he says no one gets back to him. I said, that is unfortunate. And so he began to tell me, some people they respond late, others send emails. And so the communication is scattered. And I said, well, did you tell them why you're using Slack? The purpose, what's its use, its functions? And he said no, because we've all used Slack before in different projects and whatnot. And, the team said they had experience with it. Well, I told him, even though people may say they have experience with it, you want to set the expectation and the tone for why you are using this particular communication app. I mean, you could really be texting with each other at this point, but the purpose of having Slack and setting up different channels is for productivity, is to organize the communication. And so for that story, you all want to set up your team communication and you want to establish why you're using that particular application. So if you're going to introduce a new piece of technology, whether it's Slack, WhatsApp, using the chat feature in ClickUp, whatever it is, you're going to need to attach the importance of it, why you're going to use it, what you're going to say in it, and also assert the urgency of it, the importance of it in terms of project and work and communication. So the next principle that we'll discuss is 15-minute daily stand-ups. So truth be told, I love a good meeting. There is nothing more than I enjoy than productive meetings. Notice I said productive meetings. I know many of you out there, and I come across a lot of people who are like, I hate meetings. Why? Because a lot of times meetings are not productive because we're not setting our expectations. And we're also not having the goals set out in place. And so I believe that meetings must have purpose. So I'll tell you another story about how effective implementing 15 daily stand-ups has been for my team that I'm on. So I came in to this new situation, right, in a new team, and I said, all right, what's the haps? What's going on? Give me the 411. I soon realized there's a lot of stuff going on, right? Meetings, emails, all the things going on. Some people are getting updates. Some people are not. I was like, whoa, what do we do here? So I said, I will take the responsibility for it, but I want to tell you guys about the effectiveness of 15-minute daily stand-ups. And hey, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to curate it. I'll send out the invite. I will manage the meeting. I will facilitate the meeting, all the things. So what a 15-minute daily stand-up is, and you don't have to have them to be daily if you don't want them. We actually had them, or currently have them at 3 times a day. No, sorry, 3 times a week. 3 times a day is a lot. But 3 times a week is when we have our daily stand-ups. So what happens is send the invite out, I facilitate, and we cover 3 areas. Big issues, meaning things that are urgent, action items, and questions. And so we bring that to the table Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 15 minutes. There is a 1-hour team meeting that we have with a larger group, but the core team meets 3 times a week, plus that team meeting. What does this do? This helps to address the gaps, identify who needs help, and also sets the expectation and goals for the week. So I encourage you all to implement some form of a daily stand-up. That could be a check-in. That could be on your team communication app as well, where you have 15 minutes and say, what's the issue? What's the action item? Any questions? But I encourage you all to at least try it for a couple of weeks, doing the daily stand-up, because I believe that you all will find that this rapid fire communication will help you all execute more quickly. You can help put out fires more easily, prevent fires from happening, also pivot when it's necessary. So one of the last principles I want to discuss, and I couldn't let another episode go by without talking about it, business recipes. And no, we're not going to get into any stories about, some of my favorites. But as you may remember a couple of episodes ago, business recipes, also known as standard operating procedures, is a critical communication tool. It is a written communication tool. It also can be a video communication tool as well. But it will save you time and money on training. It doesn't replace training, but it aids in it. So it helps bridge the gap between consistency and quality, and it's a great way to ensure that your business operates more efficiently. That's it for episode 6. And I can't believe it. We have one more episode, and then we're done with the preseason. 1 episode left. So I hope that you found this podcast really helpful. I want you all to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, at AshleyShuler_. Tell me what you liked about the episode. Tell me if anything was confusing. Let me know what you learned and how I could best help your team. All right, let's talk soon, and I'll see you for the season finale.